Ali has taught millions of people how to actually use AI, not theoretically, practically, and I have seen it firsthand. We have enterprise teams go through our programs and see their adoption rate spike. People will sit through one workshop and literally change how they work the next day. On our team, everyone is AI first. We build with it, we ship with it, and we run the business with it. So what you're going to hear today isn't coming from just someone who posts about AI. Ali is advising top AI labs, Fortune founders, CEOs, and people like you every single day. She's someone who lives AI, and her entire company lives it with her. So Ali, with your very caffeinated
this is going to be lightning speed, people.
Take it away.
It is a good thing that we are recording so that you can rewatch and screenshot to your heart's content. I saw people coming in from Delhi, Hong Kong, Sri Lanka, Silicon Valley, like a million places in Canada, Jamaica. This is unbelievable. Also, someone like a minute ago said, buckle up, Buttercup, because I think that person's been in one of my workshops before, and they understand that we move fast here. So we are going to be talking about how to hire, onboard, and develop your first AI agent. As background, as Elisa shared, my name is Ali. I think all of you guys have figured that out by now. I've worked at IBM, I've worked at Amazon, and my main work for the last decade has been translating engineer world into business world. There is so much happening. It feels like every single day we're waking up to a brand new release. We are going to be walking you through some of the core things that you need to know to get started with AI. Literally last week, I met with OpenAI and Google and Anthropic. This week, this year, this month, whatever, it is not slowing down. So getting started now, getting updated now, that is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Let's also be real. We've got less than an hour. No one's going to walk out of here an expert, but you are going to walk out with actual tools and prompts and everything that you need to know to get started. This is going to be fast. Again, buckle up, Buttercup, from whoever said that. Thank you for throwing that in. Let's first start with some AI agent stats. Where are we in the world of AI? Lots of companies are adopting AI in more than one function, okay? 88%. That means that AI is really getting adopted. IT leaders say, 86% of them say, hey, AI agents, super critical. And yet, okay, AI is really being adopted. IT leaders say it's really important. And yet, only 6% of workers are actually using agentic AI. This representation here is the entire world. Each dot is 3 million people. According to adoption stats today, the number of people that know what you are about to learn is either 1 or 2 dots. Okay, maybe 3. None of these companies are really sharing their adoption numbers, but like it is a few million. It is 1/1000th of the world. You are ahead, but those people are gaining unequal leverage on the rest. Are we seeing this grow? You bet. Claude is gaining so much revenue just from Claude Code, which is their agentic AI like harness. It's their way of doing agent work. They are supposedly hitting 14 billion plus. I think it's probably higher by now. I saw one stat that was at 19 billion. This is the type of adoption and growth and momentum from AI agents. So the critical thing is there. We're seeing adoption there. We're seeing, growth there, but the adoption is so low. And I do think it's because people have not carved out the time, but you guys have carved out the next hour. Let's get started. So what is an AI agent at the very high level? Again, I know you guys are beginners coming into this. An AI agent is just an AI system that can do stuff. That is pretty much it. Is it going to be the thing that like writes a little email for you, but then you have to copy and paste it and move it over here? No. That is the type of AI that we saw in 2023 and 2024, when you would ask ChatGPT for like 50 headlines, but then you still had to pick the headline, you still had to grab it and move it into your newsletter. What we are seeing now with AI agents is the ability to take action with tools, inside of tools, the ability to talk to Gmail and go on Chrome for you and literally navigate your computer. I want to give a little bit of like before and after, some comparisons so you guys can get a feel for what we are talking about, because the prompts may not have changed, but the action coming out of it has. These are a bunch of examples. I just want to draw your attention to the first and the fourth. First one, if you went to ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini in 2023 and you said, can you help me write this email? It would do that. It would generate the text. Again, you would copy, paste it, move it over here, tweak it, look at it, edit it. Great. In an AI agent world, that means that the draft can already be written in your voice. The models now are a lot better at mimicking voice and tone than they were in 2023. I find at least that Claude matches about like 93%, and I make some small edits. That draft is not just written, it is already sitting in your Gmail draft box so that you just have to review it. And by the way, you can have an AI agent send emails. It is one of the riskiest things. I would not do it. But at the very least, it's sitting there in the drafts. And because it accessed your Gmail as part of that process, if I'm sending an email to, Pepsi or something like that, it can look at all of the previous emails that I have with that person at Pepsi, and it can pull that in, edit and tweak that email, and then draft it. So there's a lot more context grabbing. Fourth option, let's say they were saying, hey, I need you to kick off that client. Again, 2023 world, we were just drafting the email. We have to grab it. We got to do other stuff with it. That time is dead. For the last year, you've been able to instead take action inside these tools. So you're going to have something like it creates a client folder from a template that already exists. It generates the entire kickoff document from the literal contract. It sends out a welcome sequence that you've already pre-prepared and pre-reviewed to that client. It builds out a project in Asana because it can tap into Asana, and it goes into your Google Calendar and blocks off that meeting for the kickoff. The ability to tap into all these tools, take action for you. This means that tasks are actually moving off your plate. Before it was the generation of the thing, the content making that was moving off your plate, and now it is the literal task that is moving off your How are we going to actually do this? As I said on the title slide, you're going to have to hire, onboard, and develop your AI agent. I am purposefully using human-y words. Why? And I'll say this again, plain language. Use cases are dumb. Use cases were a great way of learning AI in 2023. It was a great way of wrapping our heads around what could be done in these systems. But when you take a step back and you're thinking about how to work with agentic AI systems, you have to remove yourself from use cases and instead think about it as a first-class employee, as a first-class teammate. And you have to think about all of the tasks that you are currently taking on. And rather than thinking in use cases, I want you to think about tasks instead. So we're going to go through the steps. I always think back, I got hired at Amazon this years ago. But when they hired me, they'd interviewed 90 people before me. And the question was, why on earth did they pick me? Because it wasn't my sense of humor. It was culture fit. That's clearly a part of any hiring process. They're looking at my knowledge in the space, and they're looking at my skill sets in that moment and my ability to develop skills down the line. This is exactly how you are going to hire your perfect AI agent. We are literally going to go through these steps, and I'm going to show you how to get culture fit with your AI agent, how to get knowledge, and then how to use and build and develop new skills. Okay, culture fit actually has two components. The first is that you are going to be picking the right AI harness, aka the right platform, the right tool. You can use any of these words, but basically all of these tools like Claude and Chat and Gemini and whatever, you've seen them have different personalities in the chat world. The agentic versions also have slightly different flavors. I'm going to walk you through each of them, why you might pick each, but just know that anything is better than just being in a single chat thread. So anything that you have access to at work is going to help you level up. Then we're going to talk about how to literally give it a personality, how to gift it the way of working with you, how to imbue it with the right means of being your teammate. So thinking about those AI harnesses, I know that there are many people from Anthropic and OpenAI and Google in this. I don't want to play favorites. However, 99% of my work is in Claude Code. I reserve the right to change this at any time. Okay, 2 years ago, it was 100%, almost 99% ChatGPT. Maybe in 3 months, it'll be Claude Cowork. But for right now, it is Claude Code. Why? I really do think that non-coders can use this tool, and I'll be showing you exactly how to use it. I think Claude is the best AI system for writing It is unbelievable at mimicking tone. And in terms of models, I am defaulting to Opus 4.6 for pretty much everything. Only if I'm talking about tiny little sub-agents, might I throw it out to Sonnet. And for web browsing or for web activity, when I want something to move a little faster, that is when I'm using Haiku. But pretty much I'm using Opus for everything. If you are terrified of the terminal, if you really, really, really don't want to learn what the word bash means, I get it. Claude Cowork has gotten so many features in the last 2 weeks that I think it is now a solid starting point. Setting up with tools, all those connectors into Gmail and Notion, it is so much easier inside of Cowork. It's literally a toggle. So if you are like, I only have 30 minutes to learn something, Claude Cowork is great. It's a faster time to value. By the time you open it, you can just use awesome things like plugins to get started. Whereas in Claude Code, which again, I'm going to show you, you have to kick up a lot of the things on your own. Also, you might run into limits a lot faster. So you might need to buy a higher plan if you're going to Cowork just because of how it's set up. Codex, I think, is unbelievable for engineers. I know tons of engineers that default to Codex. I actually really enjoy using both ChatGPT and Claude, or using both Codex and Claude Code, because of how different these models are. I'm like battling them against each other. GPT 5.4 extra high or high, that's just how much thinking, is unbelievable for generating code. And so sometimes if I'm trying to build a product, I might default to starting in Codex and then bring it over to Claude. I would only do this switching back and forth if you're trying to crazy maximize. For the most part, using one of these three is going to get you a massive leg up. For folks that are in Google houses, if your whole company's on GCP, if you use G Suite for everything, if you need to create images nonstop all the time, Gemini Anti-Gravity or Google Anti-Gravity is great. And if you're like, Ali, I hate every single word that you've set up until this point, please, God, make it easier for myself. I only have 2 seconds and not even 30 minutes. Something like Manus AI, which is a browser, Meta bought them in December 2025, is perfectly fine. You will get the lowest amount of power, but at the very least, you will have been moving into agentic AI. Okay, those are the sort of models that I'm using. Those are the tools that I'm using. From here on out, it's pretty much going to be Claude Code. However, anything that I am teaching you is applicable to any of these tools, like giving it a personality, like figuring out skills, connecting into tools. All of that, every single platform needs this from you. So even as I'm talking about Claude Code, just think to yourself, how would I make this work in Anti-Gravity? How would I make this work inside Codex? It is applicable to all. You're not going to get left behind. Okay, we've picked the right harness. For now, let's just say we picked Claude Code, and now we have to imbue it with the personality. How on earth do we tell this weird beast, alien thing the way that we want it? It is literally a freaking text file. You will see much more complicated explanations on the internet. I'm telling you right now, it is a literal text file. It's something called a Claude.md. .md stands for Markdown. It is the template, it's the format that a lot of these agents work with. It's like a stripped down text file. I'll show you an example, but this is how you're going to gift it that personality. It's how you're going to tell it tone that you like and guardrails that you like. Okay? It is literally a text file. This is what it would look like if it was a schmancy PDF. I literally just took my personal Claude Markdown file, gave it to Claude Code and said, can you make this look like a beautiful PDF just so I can show it in this workshop? It gave me this. It is going to look messy and technical and scary on the next slide because there's some different colors, because it's dark mode for a lot of different reasons. But again, as we're going into this, please remember, it is a literal text file that is just saved on my computer. What does that actually look like? It looks like this. It is a well-organized, well-structured, bulleted, concise personality document. I'm going to break out 2 different sections of this because I want you to tap into some specifics that I am also using. Feel free to steal any of this, and then I'll give you some extra tips at the end. So I have kind of given it like a role to play. This is very similar to how people were prompting ChatGPT and Claude in 2023. I'm telling it to act as a chief of staff and not just this like, I will execute, right? So one of the things that I have it think through is, maybe I ask it to make me a new marketing campaign for this water bottle, okay? Yes, that is the literal thing that I'm asking for, but like, what is the best version of what she is asking for? So that is just one example, but you can give it like a way of working, a process. I can give it examples of what I mean when I say think bigger, right? So when I say review a contract, I don't just mean like find a couple phrases that you think are good or bad. No, I mean literally score all of these things by severity, rewrite the bad clauses for me, and offer to draft a response, right? Thinking bigger, thinking better. I'm going to show you one other section. This is my favorite freaking hack inside of Claude.md. And this is how I am turning it into a much more helpful, much more responsibly autonomous system. So at the end of every single Claude Code response, it is like begging to help me more. It is so excited to help me more. It is rewarded for helping me more. So it might do things like, hey, what other things can I take off your plate? Hey, what can I delegate to your team? And it'll pre-draft that message for me. Hey, you keep asking me to do operating committee report. Do you want to set that up as like a repeated thing? So it is constantly trying to reach out and grab me. It is like the most proactive thing. So my goal is to make Claude Code be more system oriented, help me more. Again, treating it as a teammate. And I'm going to call out some people with this third bullet. Do not treat this thing as an intern. You're going to see a lot of AI influencers out there saying, it's just like an intern, treat it like an intern. What intern can follow a 500-line document and constantly follow this thing? What intern has access to the entire internet and PhD level intelligence? Like treating it like an intern, you're going to give it tiny, tiny tasks. Treat it like one of the greatest teammates you've ever worked with. Try and break this thing. Get annoyed by it and give it feedback. Do not treat it like an intern. Okay, some extra tips here. Number one, you're going to keep this thing concise. Try and make each of your phrases tight. Keep the whole document tight. This is not the time to have like a 17-page rules document because it can overload its brain. It can start to forget certain things. So keep it tight. Keep it to the things that really work across everything that you might want to work on. If it's project specific, you are going to dedicate literally a separate Claude.md file to each of these projects. So if you're, let's just say, working with two different clients, you're working with client A, client B. Client A really likes energetic, lots of exclamation points, lots of emojis. Client B is like, if you use one emoji, you are fired, right? It's a big bank or something. Those are going to get two completely different Claude.md files. It can also have different types of tools that it might access, different work process that it might access. Other things, I love getting annoyed with Claude and just being like, please never make this mistake again. And it will go and update that Claude.md file. Why? Because I'm literally asking it to write it, to update it itself. Very rarely am I making manual edits to my Claude.md file. I am way more often telling it, I'm annoyed by this, please fix this. Can you figure out a way to fix this problem? Because it keeps coming up. Every time I tell you to look something up on the internet, you're always defaulting to Google. I want you to use Bing, whatever the thing is. Those rules are how we're going to govern Claude through Claude.md. And last one, this is not a set it and forget it thing. You're going to constantly get annoyed. You're going to constantly iterate. Keep asking Claude to review and update this Claude.md file. This is like the system instructions that it's going to keep following. Okay, we've given it that culture fit. We picked the right harness. We gave it the right personality. And now we're like, but does it know any single thing that I need this thing to know? How can I give it the knowledge that I need? Also, I'm looking at the live chat. So keep throwing in some of those comments. I love seeing this. You are going to build something called a context vault. This is a very fancy word for lots of docs, lots of text files. Okay. We are going to be building out a set of documents that tell Claude Code or whatever system you are using real ways of like, what are the goals in this thing? What are the secrets that I have? What is the nuance of this project? How do I think about building that operating committee report? And importantly, a lot of people are going to be like, well, I have all these systems accessing my Google Docs and my Gmail, and it's accessing all my meeting transcripts. So why do I have to create all these other documents on their own? Because there are things that you never say in meetings. There are fears that you have, goals that you have, strengths that you have, weaknesses that you have that literally will never come up no matter how many meetings you record. So this is a time to carve out and say, this is the master document for how Ali runs this team, or how Ali runs this business, or how Elisa, works with clients. That is a dedicated document. This is literally a screenshot of some of my Claude context docs. Water break. I've got brand voice docs, brand guidelines docs, like what color do we use for this yellow that you're seeing throughout the PowerPoint. A vendor list. I have a list of all of our vendors, all their email addresses, so that when I say things like email Krista, it knows what that person does. It knows what that email address is. It knows her mailing address if I need it. It knows how to retrieve the last 10 emails that I had with her. It knows the tone of voice that I use with her. And so that is all in that document. When you are talking to Claude Code and you are saying, hey, email this thing to Krista, it is figuring out and navigating, okay, she's giving me some names. In the Claude.md file, it says whenever she gives me a first name, I'm going to go to the team and vendors list and I'm going to look it up. So it is like tapping into its quiver and grabbing the right arrow in the moment. Okay, that is how it is able to retrieve. So you can have a lot of these docs, but because it's only grabbing one or only grabbing two, you're not overwhelming its brain. You're not overwhelming its context. So keep the Claude.md file short. Knowledge, you can add more. It is literally a folder of text files. How on earth do you create this? You can see that I also have interview prompts. I'm giving you all of the prompts that you need to be able to build this up. Go to alikmiller.com/ai-context-vault. You can download this. This is all of my prompts for every single one of those documents. I'm going to show you one example. This is the personal constitution document. This is a big thing in Silicon Valley where everyone has like their own personal constitution that they give to their team. It's going to ask you questions like, what do I believe about the world that shapes how I make my decisions? You can imagine that giving an AI system access to answers like this are going to meaningfully change the way that PowerPoints get created, that spreadsheets get created, that hiring plans get created. This is a means of steering the ship. Okay, so you're going to download all those prompts. You're going to go on a freaking walk. You're going to have Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini. You're literally going to take this prompt, paste it in, hit enter, and just answer its questions as it's coming back to you. My team literally blocked off an hour to do a context hack where we just threw at all these prompts and built up context docs. It was amazing. Let me show you an example. Do you watch the TV show The Pitt? Like me, I'm a couple episodes behind. No spoilers in the chat, please. But this is Noah Wiley's character's personal constitution. Okay, I fed it those questions, and I fed it the ability to like go and research. So this is Noah Wiley from The Pitt. What does he stand for? Okay, he is never going to discharge a patient if that patient is not stable, no matter what insurance says. Okay, he stands for all these things. What is he afraid of? How does he lead? He leads with competence and outcomes, not empathy and process. Warmth is not his language, results are. You can imagine that just these lines are going to tweak how this thing works. I almost did Dwight Schrute for what it's worth. And I did do a personal constitution for him. It was just too strange. So went with The Pitt. If you guys are fans of it, oh, good. We already got, I love The Pitt. I love The Pitt. Amazing. So you are going to have a John Constitution doc, a Sunny, a Brad, a Melanie Constitution doc for yourself. This is not something you have to share with your team, but you're going to share it with Claude Code. There are times, by the way, where like I feel almost a little bit exposed. It feels like I'm gifting a little bit of my behind the scenes view of like working with an executive coach. Okay. Before we dive into skills, this is how you're going to literally teach Claude Code what to do. You're going to have to download Claude Code, right? Everything up until now, you could have done it in just a normal chat window. You could have just created that folder on your own. You are going to download Claude Code. I have an entire video that walks you through this. You're going to head to this bit.ly/claudecode-begin, and you are going to watch this video. The first couple minutes is just how to set it up. It is literally taking, I think you guys can see my mouse. You are literally just taking this line right here. You are opening terminal. You are pasting it. You are hitting enter. That is it. But I take 10 minutes to walk you through it so that no one is left behind. These are a couple comments on the video. I do not leave people behind. Okay. This is how you're going to get started. Now that you can get it started, how are you actually going to teach the thing? Okay. So you have the personality, you have the knowledge. Now we have to have it take actual action. You are giving it capabilities. You are helping it figure out how to do those kickoff clients that we saw in that table where I had you look at the fourth line. We are going to do it all together. Step one, open a very blank terminal. I look at this terminal and I do not have fear. I do not have confusion because all I have to do is think of the Spice Girls. Because I literally have this song playing in my head. Okay, as a loyal millennial, this song is playing in my head and I'm like, I don't have to do anything fancy. I don't have to code. I don't have to type in weird speak. I'm just going to tell you what I want, what I really, really want. You are going to type that in. Thank you, Merrick. Okay, we're going to imagine that this is the prompt and I'm going to break it down step by step. I type in, hey, Claude, I need a new skill, right? I'm using natural language. Just make me a new skill. I can come up with a name for it. I didn't have to. Claude can come up with its own name. I'm going to call it Ramble to PowerPoint. What is it going to do? It is going to take my messy brain dump and turn it into a slide deck. Let's say I work for Dunkin' Donuts. Here are hex codes for the business, right? FF671F. Okay, I'm going to say when you make a PowerPoint, I want to use donut shapes and rounded shapes everywhere, rounded corners on all text boxes. Throw in donut puns as you're writing all these headlines, like make it fun for me. Every deck, I want you to follow this outline. Start with the title slide, go into agenda. All the content slides should have this. The end slide should have this. Always add speaker notes, right? If I'm making a deck 30 minutes before a meeting and I don't have time to prep, write me the speaker notes. Reference that Team 2026 context doc, right? So we built up all those documents and now as I'm building skills, I can embed into the skill, hey, by the way, every time you're about to do this, can you go access that doc? So that even when I update the doc, it is updating how it is going to perform that skill. Okay, it is going to take in all of this information and it is going to build out that skill for me. I did not type a single word that is on the screen right now. It is going to build up that skill into a skill.md file. Again, it's a text file. It's just a text file in a slightly specific format. Claude knows how to create them. So whenever you want to create a skill, you're just going to tell Claude Code, can you create a skill? And it will do this. You can also do this inside of Claude Cowork in natural language and just add it as a skill. And there's literally just one button that you have to click. So it is going to have a title, a little description, so that when you ask for it in the future, hey, I need to build a PowerPoint, it's going to look at all of its skill and go, ooh, this one's the PowerPoint one. And it's going to grab it and literally read it in the moment and read through it and then use it to be able to build out your PowerPoint. But you can see that it has the color codes that I was giving it. You can see that it's, pulling out specific typography. It gets those specifics. And I can always come in and update and say, hey, we changed our font. Can you update that skill for me? Now, let's say it is a week later. I open up another blank terminal. I'm going to tell it what I want, what I really, really want. Here's a blank terminal. I'm going to come back to it and I'm going to literally tell it, hey, I want you to make that PowerPoint. At the very beginning of a message, this is when you call the skill. The way to call a skill is / and you type the skill name. So if you have a skill that is just writing Gmail drafts in your voice, maybe it's /Gmail draft or /voice or something like that. You don't have to call it out by name. You can say, hey, remember that PowerPoint skill we made? And it'll go find it for you. When I remember the name for the skill, I like using it. So I'm calling the skill and I'm telling Claude Code, again, a week later, I haven't even thought about that skill in a week. Hey, Claude Code, I need you to create a deck for me. Super, super fast. It's for our CMO, right? So it's starting to think about the type of tone and wording that it might need. It is for Dunkin'. And I want you to look at our last 3 big marketing campaigns the last couple years. Go ahead and include the Ben Affleck one. I want you to find some random third one, right? Ben Affleck, Sabrina Carpenter, find me a third. Go online, find me some actual details about all this stuff. Go online, find me any press quotes, and also summarize it all for like what this means for our celebrity strategy. I did not give it any information on typography, on colors. I didn't give it that goal document again. I didn't give it, please start with a title slide and go into an agenda, because it has that skill. It already knows to do that. So you are constantly gifting it capabilities, and days, weeks, hours, months, whatever later, you're like, can you please use that? I'm glad that Mark loves Duncan, because so do I. Okay, it is going to go off and do the work. What I love about what it is doing, okay, it is retrieving that goals file in real time. It's pulling it in. So everything that I am building is goal oriented. It is my favorite. My word of the year is aligned. I want everything to relate back to my goals. Every single thing, even if it's a PowerPoint deck. And it is going to research all 3 campaigns, the Ben Affleck, the Sabrina Carpenter, and the random third one. And it's doing it in parallel. In a single chat thread, I would have had to say, can you go research Ben? And then wait there for 10 minutes. Can you go research Sabrina? And wait there for 10 minutes. It is literally spinning up 3 agents based on just my little natural language prompt. It is spinning up 3 agents to run in parallel, to research Ben, to research Sabrina, and to research the random third thing. It is literally going to go and find it. It is unbelievable. Okay, it's going to go and work. It's going to run those 3 agents in parallel so I don't have to wait for each one to finish. Let's look at what the output is. We get back the entire PowerPoint that we need, glazed and informed. We are also getting the speaker notes back. I can look through, I can edit as needed. I get the agenda that I asked for. I can see that it's rounded corners. It's using Dunkin' colors. It's using the donut puns. Here's what's brewing, okay? It's going to give me the readout on Sabrina Carpenter. It's giving me the readout on data. I can see a bunch of people are asking, how do I know that that data is true? One, you're gonna have to validate it, but also these systems are so much better than they were. I am very often finding that it is accurate and the sources that they're grabbing from, but you can also go into the Claude.md file and say, for every statistic that you pull, right after you pull it, I want you to spin up a second agent to go and review and double check that stat online. There's a lot of use cases where it's like AI as a judge, AI as a secondary set of eyes. And so you can literally put into Claude.md, I don't want to be your first verifier, make AI your first verifier, and then I'll come in as a second filter. Okay, we get this unbelievable pun, cute little donut sprinkles, thanks a latte. It's also giving you like little coaching, like should we renew Affleck for 2027? Don't say kill it, okay? Use them as a mentor. I love that we are getting this back. Now, in addition to giving me the actual PowerPoint file, we are also going to get back the list of next steps. Remember, way in the back, I said, I want to make my Claude code be like as helpful as humanly possible, where it's constantly going, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? We see it in action. So it makes the PowerPoint, yes, great. But it is also asking me, hey, Allie, do you want me to tweak any slide? Is there anything I can do for you? Do you want me to tweak it for your CMO's personality? Do you want me to add a little Starbucks comparison? Do you want me to add a comparison to Travis Scott and McDonald's? Do you want me to draft a pre-read email to your CMO so you can just get this out faster? Which, by the way, you could also send that email for me. Do you want me to build a one-pager summary of this? Which, again, it could just send it to the CMO. It is constantly asking me for more help. Thank you, Amanda. And yes, Tristan, it's recorded. Question is, how long did this take? If I were doing this on my own, if I were researching those 3 things, if I were building the PowerPoint, if I were even adding that one pager, tweaking the slides, verifying the thing, how long would that take? At least 5 hours, okay? Also coming up with donut puns, I would have probably spent 2 hours on that. But let's be honest, it would have taken 5 hours. How long did this entire process take when I just asked it to make this entire thing? 4.5 minutes. As you're thinking about workflows that this system can take on, and by the way, it's grabbing goals, which maybe I wouldn't have even done. It's grabbing context docs that maybe I wouldn't have even done. It's reading 50 sources and maybe I would have only read 2. It is unbelievable at efficient task completion so that you can reallocate your time to convincing your CMO to continue to work with Ice Spice or whatever you want to do. Okay. Now, we talked about how to build your own skill. Why am I so itchy? This is great. Okay. Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you for the all caps. You built your own skill. There are so many skills online. How are you going to steal not really steal because they're open, but how are you going to grab other skills from GitHub? This is going to sound technical. Again, I assure you it is not. We are going to find this on GitHub. Again, I'll show you how to do that. But let's just say that we found this amazing skill. It's called the humanizer skill. It's how we're going to take writing and turn it into not AI sounding garbage crap like we've all read 1,000 times. It's a humanizer skill. Whether you like this skill morally or not, that is up to you. But let's just say that we feel okay with it. We're going to navigate to this page. It gives you installation tips. I'm breaking this down in normal English. That mkdir thing, that whole line literally just means, Claude Code, can you make me a file? Can you just make me this folder? And it's just going to make a folder called skills. If the folder already exists, it's going to ignore it. Great. So it has that skills folder. And then you're going to write into the terminal, literally hit paste and hit enter, this long thing. What is this saying? Hey, Mac, can you go ahead? Can you go to that website? Can you go to GitHub/this/this? Can you grab all of the code that it's asking me for? And can you put it into that folder that we just talked about? That's all this is. You're going to copy and paste the first line and hit enter, and copy and hit the second line and hit enter. You should verify the security of all these things that you are grabbing. There are a lot of stories out there. So if you're really nervous, just build your own skills. And if you look at like the number of stars of projects, which I think this one had about 10,000, you can feel a little bit better, but it's not going to be 100%. Okay, so we open that terminal. We're just going to paste in that second line. So I'm coming in kind of midway. We paste in that second line. We're going to hit enter. It is going to kind of work on its own. It's thinking, it's going to that website, it's grabbing the code, it's bringing it back. It's going to ask you for permission. You can turn off all these permissions. My recommendation, don't do that yet. Don't do that until you've really worked with the system, particularly if you're having it grab code and come back. That is still something that I like to participate in the decision of. We're going to say yes. And it's like, done and done, Allie. I went ahead and cloned this. So now it exists on my computer. Let's just show you what that looks like. It is literally sitting in a folder on my computer, right? We set it to create the folder called skills. It created the folder called humanizer. I have another one called memory check, fine. And inside that humanizer folder, it's just got a bunch of Markdown files. What are Markdown files? Everyone say it with me. Just text files in a slightly different format. It is literally just some Markdown files. Let's show you what it actually looks like. Again, the scary looking technical thing that doesn't actually look really technical because it's just a text file. It is going to follow all of these steps and rules. It is going to find the negative parallelism where it's like, this isn't a jacket. This is a means of protection. This isn't a water bottle. This is a highway to health. We've read those lines 1,000 times. This humanizer skill, one of the like 20 things that it does is it removes negative parallelisms, like those examples. It removes constantly listing things in threes. It removes using 5 em dashes in each paragraph. So we downloaded that skill. It looks really awesome. We can go really into it. We can see these examples. We can kind of just approve it with our eyes like, yeah, that sounds about right. I want to use this. Now that we've grabbed this, first of all, we can run any single text through the humanizer skill. I'm checking time. We can run anything through this. And my favorite, you just saw that we grabbed one skill from GitHub. You can grab anything. There are so many out there. So maybe you want to go into Google or ChatGPT or Claude, and you just go, Claude, I work in field marketing. Like, is there a good skill or a good set of skills that I can use? Or I'm constantly in Slack. Slack is my everything. Any Claude Code skills that I should be using for that? Or, the last one, hey, I'm trying to launch my own YouTube channel. Is there a skill that can just like automatically research every single video, top performing video in my niche and pull me a daily report on every single top performing video? So many of these things already exist. There's joy to kind of being like a second mover because everyone has figured out how to create the best skills. So in addition to building your own on these really niche things like Ramble to PowerPoint and here use the Duncan colors, you can grab unbelievable things online. Okay, we've talked about building out those files to build really complex skills because none of these have access to really anything tools-wise, right? We're just going on the internet, researching and using code to write a PowerPoint or going over here and writing things. To build really complex skills, you got to connect it to tools. That is like the joy of agents. That is how you really get it to complete tasks for you. I'm going to show you what my team uses. The next slide is crazy overwhelming. This is the slide that you're going to screenshot. We're not going through it line by line. These are all the tools that my team literally uses. We are using Fireflies, Otter, Whisperflow. I am a dictation fiend. Every single person on my team has a paid account to Whisperflow, where we are constantly dictating to these things. We are using Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini, all of them. We're using things like Supabase and Vercel to be able to deploy. We are using ManyChat. If you guys joined this webinar, this workshop from Instagram, and it said, reply with the word workshop, that was done through ManyChat. The things with stars are the things that we're really heavily connecting into Claude Code. But there's so many automations that we have built out. Running an AI first company means that it has to talk to your systems. If this is too overwhelming, which I suspect it is for many of you, and yes, we have subscriptions to all of these. Not all of them are paid, but many of them are. Here are some tools that you should really be tapping into. It should definitely talk to your email, like Gmail or Outlook. You can reserve it and just say, I only want you to be able to read email and not write email. You can set different permissions. You can give it access to your calendar, where you can say, hey, I only want you to be able to access this calendar, not this other one, whichever. So you are permissioning all of these things through something called MCPs. There are tutorials online. This is how you are going to connect it. You can literally just ask Claude Code, hey, I got to do something with Stripe. How do you talk to Stripe? If it gives you back technical BS, you're going to say, I don't know what the heck this means. I'm a non-engineer. Can you break it down for me in 5th grade reading level and go crazy step by step and literally tell me every single spot to click? It is going to break it down for you. You will be able to connect it to any of these tools. Okay, let's show 3, I think, example, more complex ones. Let's say that for every single non-urgent email that you get that's routed to a specific folder, you just want Claude Code to auto draft your replies in your voice. So let's say that we are Noah Wiley again. We are going to have Claude Code go into that folder, craft replies using the Noah voice skill that we can generate. It's going to use the humanizer skill that we just downloaded and run it through that. And it's going to save it as a Gmail draft for me to review. This is one example flowchart where we're connecting literally just into one tool. This is just going into Google Workspace to talk to my Gmail, but it's 3 skills, the Noah voice skill, the humanize skill, and literally the whole skill to just run this workflow. Okay, this is one example. A lot of people are using auto things for support tickets, right? You should have a skill and a knowledge base for it to tap into. Let's do an even more complex one. This is going to be an AI system that is updating your website, updating your FAQ section without you even being involved. Okay, it is going to grab not just from your support email outbox via Google Workspace MCP, it's also going to look at your recent client call recordings. It's going to grab these questions and answers that you are constantly getting. It is going to synthesize them into common responses with a model like Opus 4.6 or a model like GPT 5.4 Pro or whatever. It's going to synthesize that. It is going to draft out your website FAQ using your brand voice skill. So it sounds like you, your brand guideline skill. So it goes through that first legal check, and your humanized skill. So it doesn't have those idiotic negative parallelisms that are used everywhere. So it's gone through 3 filters. Now we have an amazing set of FAQs. It is literally going to access Chrome for you. This is a Chrome MCP, one of the most powerful connections out there. It is going to navigate to your Squarespace or whatever you use. It's going to navigate it. It's going to take those FAQs. It's going to put it into that page that you've previously told it where the FAQs live. It is going to update it. It is also going to test that website for you, and it is going to publish it, and you can even schedule it. This is the type of complex workflow that people have built out that these systems can run. This is meaningful tasks. Okay, I know a bunch of people are asking about permission stuff. Test it in your personal side first. Beg your head of IT to enable things like this. Okay, being able to tap into tools, right? Maybe it doesn't access your Gmail, and it only accesses your meeting transcripts. Still unbelievably powerful. You can also run multiple agents in parallel. You can say, spin up one agent that does this, one agent that does this, one agent that does this. This is very similar to that Ben Affleck, Sabrina Carpenter, and other research example. You're just speaking in natural language to spin up agents to call certain skills. If I had already pre-done these skills, like check my start emails in Gmail and summarize all of them, or go into my recent Slack messages and summarize them, right? If I had done this before and I want to do this 50 more times, we're going to create a skill. And instead, that prompt for 3 agents would look like what? Hey, spin up one agent that does the Gmail star skill. Spin up another agent that does the summary skill. Spin up a third agent that does the babysitter skill. There are people that are literally typing this in from their cell phone at the grocery store, and all of this is working on their behalf. I have unbelievable amounts of proactive workflows. I'm going to give you, this is a fake example, but this is the amount that we are running on our team. This could be you. This is an AI first work week. So we just saw what happens when it looks like to set up an automated, website FAQ. What does it look like when you have 28 of those running? Looks like this. You have all of these running at predetermined times. You have your morning brief running every single morning at 7 a.m. You have automated sales demos going in to your last 10 client calls. And every single day, it is updating your sales demo deck so that any meeting that you have later that day, you are already working off of an updated demo or an updated PowerPoint. You can have this, right? This is 28 workflows running 36 times, some of them running every day, once a week, once a month. I'm going to show you an example of the morning brief that you can totally build out. Mine, again, this is all fake data, but this is my literal briefing, right? It'll tell me things like whether I have to put on makeup for that day, because you all know that I hate putting on makeup and I just like wearing backwards hats. This is what that looks like. You have now hired your first AI agent. We have given it a personality. We've given it knowledge. We have taught it our own skills. We've grabbed other skills from GitHub. We have connected it into tools. We have set up automations. We've built out our AI first work week, okay? And even if you can't connect it to tools, we already showed that you could save hours in your first week. The people who know how to do this stuff, the people who know how to work with and build AI agents, how to teach AI agents, how to iterate with AI agents, how to spin up 3 research agents in parallel, they are the people who are going to be leading in the next era of work. Those are the people that your bosses want in the room. Those are the people who are getting hired to teach others. These skills are worth unbelievable amounts of money, not just for your own, job, but for future career as well. You can absolutely learn all this stuff like connecting into MCPs, connecting into other tools, grabbing other skills from GitHub. You can learn all of this on your own, okay? You can learn all this stuff on YouTube. I post nonstop every single day on YouTube and Instagram, or you can learn in a group. This whole workshop was born out of hundreds of you DMing me, begging for a group cohort to be able to go through that. So that is why we are all gathered here for this workshop. We are going to be launching a group. I am aware that this is the first time we are showing this URL, and so there are going to be people who jump to this URL and take action immediately. We're launching something called an AI Agent Mastermind. This is going to be 4 weeks live with me, starting literally in a few days, to be able to build all of this out. We are keeping this very small. We want it to be intimate. It is not a course. This is not some like async thing. You're just going to watch some videos at 4x speed. You're going to be shipping real skills. You are going to be shipping real skills within the first week. You are going to be building automated AI agents in your first week. It is also a cohort. So you're going to be working with, building other people. All the homework, everything is individual work, but you get to chat, network, commune, relate to all these other people, because what I hear from so many people, and what I assume is happening in the chat as well, is that you are probably the weirdo in your friend group. You are probably the person who realizes that the whole world of work and tech has changed and that everyone around you hasn't caught up. This is a space to meet the other weirdos, whether it's in Sri Lanka or Hong Kong or Silicon Valley, wherever they are from. This is the schedule for how we're going to be running these weeks. Week 1, that morning brief that I just showed you, we're building it out. Every single person is getting their own morning briefing, customized to you, your own interface, all the tool connections that you need to be able to run this every single morning. I am already saving hours every week just with that automated workflow alone. Second week, We are going into all the privacy questions, memory management. How do I figure out how to validate this thing? How do I have a secondary agent check this work? How do I personalize this output? How do I, fix its output? All of that, the infrastructure, week 2. Week 3, we are building things that you can put out on the internet. You can collect payment on these things. You can build out an app that you literally post on the internet and sell for $500, $5,000, $5 million, whatever it is. Week 4, we are going to be spanning out and talking about building out your entire digital workforce. Things like having your own AI chief of staff, your own AI marketer, your own AI salesperson, how to have all of those AI agents working for you, working on your behalf, and how to figure out what the heck the future looks like. I'm going to give you my guesses. I'm going to give you what I've learned from all my conversations with these AI labs, with Fortune 500 companies. I'm going to give you my very opinionated take on where all of this is going. This is built for business professionals. I know developers always sneak in to these workshops and webinars, but this is going to be built for complete beginner business professionals. If you felt like this session went by too fast, we are going to break it down, but that is going to be the level of natural language. When I'm talking about, the word stuff or thing, or just calling things text files, we are breaking things down into very, very easy to understand language. No one is going to be left behind in the session. We are breaking everything down. Other things. What I've heard, Claude Code's been out for literally a year. What I hear is that people don't have time. They don't have a way to carve out that time. You all carved out this hour. If you were just watching this hour, you already have the tool that you need to build out that first automated AI agent. If you want to progress from there, you can absolutely learn this all on your own. I'm telling you, I learned it all on my own. You can build this all out on your own, or you can do it with a group and get this accountability system and have these meetings on your calendar so that literally in 1 month, you are set. This is an accountability system almost more than the actual learnings. What is included? We're doing 4 live sessions with me. It is happening every single Thursday at 1 p.m. ET. I understand that if you are in another time zone, if you're in Australia, that can be rough. We are recording all of these sessions that you can join. We're also going to have my senior ML fellow, whom I love, host 2 technical office hours. So if you have questions like how this LLM performs and what is a mixture of experts model, whatever thing you see in the news that you just want more questions on, Alex is your guy. He's incredible. And we're also going to have Elisa, who you met at the very beginning of the session, go deep in on a capstone session where she shows an entire system that our company literally runs on for our CRM. She's going to dive deep into how she built it, the data sources, so that you'll see that, and you will have unlimited access to all of those recordings. You're going to get access to peers. You're going to get every single prompt that I'm using for all these things. You're going to get getting started videos so that every installation, so that every single terminal hack, like those slash commands, or fun little hacks like /BTW, we're going to go through those. You're going to get weekly homework. I know that people see the word homework and they run for the hills, but this is how you have to do this. You have to get hours inside these systems to be able to become super users. I even just measure things by tokens, like how many tokens am I using, so that I can learn faster, learn better. Having those little homeworks, it is going to be helpful also just to talk with the other people to say, hey, what are you building? What are you not building? We are keeping this very, very small. Based on our conference that we held last year, I know so many of you participated in that. Based on that, which is at a similar price point, we are almost certainly going to sell out of the AI Agent Mastermind. Okay, it would normally be $3,000. Every single person that I talked to, that I showed this to, I talked to a friend at Databricks, talked to a friend at a VC firm. They were like, I would spend minimum $5,000 for this. We priced it at $3,000. And if you joined the workshop, literally right now, if you go to joinaiagentmastermind.com, we are listing it at $2,200. My guess is that this whole thing will sell out at this price point. If it doesn't, at the end of 24 hours, or at the end of today, after tomorrow, okay, so 24 hours, we are bumping it up to $3,000, 0 exceptions. If you want that deal, if you want the $2,200, I am telling you right now, it is so insanely worth it. The first week, you are saving more time than this would cost. I want all of you to be able to have that actual build happening. And we can only do that if we have that intimate group so that it functions as an accountability system. Okay, you are going to be saving all those hours. It is going to be strong. Grab this link, and I'm going to end on a couple FAQs that every single person has been asking when we kind of have shared this information. It is first come, first serve. If it sells out, that is it. First come, first serve. We are keeping this very, very small. Again, the URL is joinaiagentmastermind.com. Okay, some FAQs. Here we go. Will the workshop replay be available? AKA this one? Oh yeah, it's gonna be available for 24 hours. Replay it as many times as you want. Take screenshots, throw it into Claude Code and say, Ali said to do this, can you do this for me? Or, type out a prompt, paste it in. Grab everything. What I shared, it is not confidential. Grab it, reshare it, grab it, use it. Mastermind members, you are going to get unlimited access to that replay. So if you want to go back to it in 3 weeks, you can. Do you need a technical background? Oh, no. Zero coding. You are not going to be typing code. I'm going to break down every single thing in the easiest to understand language. This is totally built for hungry and curious business professionals in any field, whether you are in sales, marketing, finance, strategy, HR, ops. It is going to be helpful for all roles, but it is going to be built for business folks. We're not going to be showing deep, branch management. It is going to be for business professionals. What if you've never used Claude Code before? First of all, anyone that was watching this, you probably figured out how to use Claude Code. You can go to all those YouTube videos. You can watch tutorials. You can search online how to spin up a new Claude Code skill. You will find tutorials. It's going to be great. For the AI Agent Mastermind, you are going to get step-by-step instructions. I am going to personally be talking about my terminal basics, my fun little hacks, my slash commands that I'm using all the time. There are tons out there. I'm going to show you the couple that I use all the time. We are also going to be holding an installation support session so that any single person that has issues with setting up Claude Code or setting up Claude Cowork, that is going to be a session where we unblock you. We are also setting it up right before day one as well. So by the beginning of day one, you are set up. You're ready to build. You're ready to open up your computer and work alongside me. If you can't make a live session, if you're crazy busy, you're running your own business, you're in a different time zone, every single thing is going to be recorded. You can watch back at 2x, though I think that would be crazy for how fast we get through these things. But as I mentioned in the beginning, as much as I think it's great that all these things are recorded and you can rewatch them, I would prefer if you could join live. Why? All of this functions as an accountability system. I think Seth Godin ran a group cohort for his class, and he ran one. He had it also just online that people could take. Again, I think that my audience is crazy smart. You guys can go through this on your own. But his completion rate for starting on your own versus joining the group, starting on your own, the completion rate was 3%. Starting with the group, completion rate was 97%. Literally flipped. I want people to get to that completion rate so that they can influence their whole companies, so that they can influence their bosses, their directs, their teammates, other people online, your clients. I want this intimacy. I want those live sessions so that we can build up that sort of momentum. If you've taken the AI First Academy, I know so many of you have, thank you. That is an async course. Those are videos that are pre-recorded that walk you through things like how to use live voice dictation, how to use live voice mode, how to prompt, how to set up markdown files, how to build fun artifacts, how to use AI within spreadsheets. That is the AI First Academy. I know so many companies have bought that. So if your company is also on that, amazing. Mastermind is kind of what comes after that, but you can take it on your own. AI Agent Mastermind is the only live cohort that we've got. It is 4 weeks. It is that small group, and it is only on AI agents. We are only going to be showing things like Claude Code, things like skills, things like the markdown files. It is going to be freaking epic. Is this only for Claude? Again, I know that we've got big OpenAI stands out there. We've got big Google stands. For the most part, it is going to be Claude Code, and the backup tool, because new things are always going to come out, is going to be Claude Cowork. We are going to be showing only examples for the most part in those two. We're going to be probably accessing, other models, but those are going to be the tools. The amazing news is that for the most part, all of these tools have kind of standardized on the same sort of files. They may be called different things. They might be structured slightly differently, but you can always take something that you put into Claude, you can throw it into Codex. You can say, hey, I built this in Claude. Can you change it for me? or I built this, you can screenshot something that I show you, throw it into Codex and say, can you make me this version for me? Can you walk me through it step by step? And you will be completely fine in Codex. You will have a different model experience. It'll have different strengths. Codex is even better for running multiple agents, but it'll be applicable to all. What happens after the 4 weeks? You keep unlimited recordings to everything. The Slack community, we're keeping it open for months after that, so people can keep sharing stories, people can keep those connections. For folks that joined the conference last year, there was so many meetups coming out of it. I had photos of people meeting up in London. Michael Gross, thank you for running a meetup in New York that I got to attend. It is so much fun. So folks in the mastermind, maybe you do some little meetups, maybe it's virtual relationships, maybe you just comment on each other's LinkedIn, building in public. I love it all. What tools do you need? This is a real talk on cost. You are going to need some sort of paid subscription, whether that's Claude, whether that's ChatGPT or Gemini. You need at the very least the $20 a month subscription. If you are trying to build an entire digital workforcey thing that is automating a bunch of tasks and functioning as a workforce, it is going to be almost impossible for me to recommend doing that on a $20 a month plan. You, at the very minimum, should be looking at that Claude Max plan, the lower one, that is $100 a month. On my team, I have some people that are on the $100 a month plan and some people that are on the $200 a month plan. For the most part, I think no one's regularly hitting their cap at the 200. If you're in Claude Code, you can do /usage to see whether you're close to it. One of my teammates showed me and it was at like 3%. Okay, so you're totally fine. Just blast the heck out of it. But you have to be on that max plan. Onboarding Pack is going to walk you through everything, but you are going to need to have that paid account. How much time is this going to take? Live sessions with the technical sessions and the Elisa capstone session, those are going to be 1 hour long. The live sessions with me are going to be 90 minutes long. 60 minutes, we are going to be going step by step through those week breakdowns. 30 minutes is going to be live Q&A on anything that we talk about, on any brand new news that has come out, anything that is on your mind. Homework is going to be the real builds. Again, I think you will benefit the most when you put in a couple hours and you will get out what you put in. The first thing that you build already is going to save you 3 hours per week. So immediately it is giving you time to take this program. Can you expense it? Yes. For folks that joined my OG AI for Business Leaders course, which is around the same price, so many folks expense it through their company. Ping your head of L&D and say, is there any way that I can expense this? Use Claude, use ChatGPT to write that email, have it customized to you, have it be written specifically for that person, scrape that person's LinkedIn and have it customize that perfect email, and ask people if you can expense it. If you have any questions, email support@allykmiller.com. If you want to take this as a team, if you somehow want it for your whole company, I don't know how we're going to yet address that, but at least for, we're going to figure it out. For enterprise inquiries, email the same sort of email, support@allykmiller.com. I've taught so many workshops. I know that there are a lot of companies that joined this workshop. I saw that like almost an entire NBA team's admin team all signed up for this workshop. So maybe if you want to take Mastermind together, let us know. Who else is teaching? Alex Whedon is my senior ML fellow. He's doing the technical sessions. Elisa, who you met in the very beginning, she is a former engineer. I've worked with her for 7 years. She is a brilliant, brilliant operations mind. She's going to be walking you through her awesome system that she built out. I'm teaching every single Thursday session. I'm going to be drinking water and scratching my face, whatever. It is always going to be live, but it is also going to be recorded. AI is always changing. This is, by the way, the last Q&A slide, and then we'll open it up. AI is always changing. So why the heck are we doing this 4-week thing? And what if something changes by the time we get to week 4? Guess what? I don't sleep anymore. I made some of these slides last night at 2:30 in the morning. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw that. I am literally updating these lessons in real time. The program is adaptive in real time. So if a new release comes out that makes a process easier or that renders a process totally inefficient, right? And we should never build it that way. I am going to address it in that session. I am reading about AI for hours every single day. I am tapped into all these AI labs, so I also know what's coming. It is going to be live adapted. You're going to get the latest and greatest. So when Codex also make some big release, or Gemini, I'm also going to be sharing that. I suspect that it'll come up in some of those Q&As as well. But this is like live adaptation. Okay, one last thought. And this is something that I saw from Anthropic. So I visited Anthropic in person. They had this very cool installation where they interviewed 81,000 people. They ran this whole survey. They interviewed 81,000 people on their thoughts on AI. Some of it positive, some of it negative, a lot of it mixed. A lot of it, the same person was feeling both ways. One quote really struck me. I shared it on Instagram story. So many people replied back. I think hundreds of people wrote back just to this quote. And I want to leave you, ooh, did it not load? That's hilarious. Let me just read the quote because it is on the side of my screen. I'll just have to read it off the top of my head. It was something like, I am 53 years old. Maybe someone on my team can go and find this exact one. It was like, I am 53 years old. I am in the legal space. I used to do legal briefings in 45 minutes, and now it gets done in 5 minutes. I am changing the way that I work. And this person at the very end said, like, I want to read more. I want to spend time with my family more. I want to have time to eat dinner with my family. That's what that quote was. As much as I want to say that I'm like the greatest AI teacher in the world and every single person is going to feel like they are indispensable at work and everything's going to be great, I cannot promise you that. I cannot promise that everything that I teach you means that you're going to lie on the beach in Bali and you're only going to work for an hour a day or something like that. I can't promise you the opposite. I can't promise you that you're definitely going to be working 7 days a week and working 24 hours a day. All I can promise you is that if you are in this AI Agent Mastermind, we're going to live adapt. I'm going to show you the frameworks so that you can make the mindset shift into 2026 and so that you can start getting real tasks off your plate. The whole point of this AI Agent Mastermind is to give you that accountability system to be able to move through and to move into 2026. I feel so ridiculously passionate about the idea that every business professional needs access to this sort of knowledge. That's why we have this workshop. For the mastermind, we have to keep it intimate so that we can keep that accountability there, so that we can have the network there. You're going to be building alongside me. But I feel so passionate that you guys can do this. The impact that it makes on your life, what you do with this information moving forward, that is still going to be up to you. This is for high agency people. Massive bummer that that image is not showing. Maybe I can fix it in 2 seconds and pull it back on the screen. I'm going to switch into live Q&A. So Elisa, if you want to come off mute to be able to ask those questions, we can get them answered.
Absolutely. So the most upvoted question is a theme that appears across a ton of questions. And it's, what's the best way to use AI and protect company data? Someone else phrases it as, I keep hearing that AI can manage email, calendars, finances. From a privacy and security standpoint, how do we manage this?
First, it is not your job to manage privacy. It is your IT leader's job, your CIO's job. That is who's ultimately going to make the decision around what systems can or cannot be connected. Every company is going to be completely different. There are going to be some companies that say, go whole hog, connect it to everything, go dangerous permissions on everything, run 25 open clause. And there are some companies that say, we're not ready for agentic AI. I don't want to give anyone access to Claude Code. What I see now is that a lot of larger enterprises are just now giving access to Claude Code to, at the very least, engineering teams or adjacent to engineering teams like product and design. And there's some companies that have started giving it out to everyone. Most companies that I work with are doing it on a permission basis or a request basis, where you are going in and requesting, hey, can I have access to Claude Code? And sometimes you have to like justify which tools you want to connect it to. But the next several months is going to be like data privacy, figure it out time. Ultimately, it comes down to your IT team. There are stronger ways of setting this up, right? So you can be in private sandboxes. You can technically use this in the like enterprise setups, so it'll have better permission management. One thing that I appreciate inside of something like Claude Enterprise, but I'm sure this is in all the enterprise systems as well, is that if you manage everything through your company login, those Claude accounts through your company login, then any permission in terms of like what documents you can access, what files in Google Drive you can access, it's still tied back to that person. So any permission that I have as a human is going to carry through to that AI agent or that agentic system that I'm working with. So if I'm a super duper exec, that means that I can see, every single thing in Slack. Or if I am only in 3 different Slack channels, it'll only have access to those. So the permissions carry through. Ultimately, it's going to come down to IT. And it is your job to consistently push and ask for these things. Last sentence is like, outside of all of work stuff, you can spin this up on your own computer, with your own personal Gmail. You can, again, also just give it read access instead of write access. Only give it access where it can write things on your desktop and not delete anything. There's ways to manage allow lists and block lists inside of Claude that we'll be going over on the mastermind. You can also just ask Claude, hey, how do I better manage permissions with you? If you're worried about privacy, do not turn on dangerous permissions and do not turn on the brand new auto mode. Review every single permission as it comes through. Those are the top tips. This is something that could take an hour to go into, but those are the top.
Great. Another really big theme is how to think about Claude Code versus Cowork versus Copilot. Specifically, where does Copilot fit in? There are a lot of corporations that are doing this. Are you able to connect Claude to Claude Cowork, etc.?
Yeah, so Microsoft is expanding, right? Microsoft, 2 years ago or something, was really, really tightly knit with OpenAI, and that was the bond. What we're seeing now with all AI labs and all cloud providers or all hub providers like a Slack, not just Microsoft and GCP and stuff, is that they are broadening it out. So the ability to access Claude inside of Microsoft things, it is going to be expanding. The ability to access Claude inside of Googly things is going to be expanding. So in terms of Copilot today, it is more limited than Claude Code today, but those are going to be expanding. If you are on Copilot, if your whole company has it, first of all, awesome that at the very least you have access to AI, but anything that is agentic is better than just single chat threads. So anything that you're given access to, take advantage of that. Copilot already had agentic stuff 2 years ago. So the ability to set up things like in the AI First Academy, we go over this for folks, but it's something like every Friday, check my urgent emails that I haven't yet responded to and send me an email with summaries. That was possible in Copilot. We recorded the videos last summer. So it was possible then. It is obviously possible now. It'll just be easier now. That's kind of what I can say. All of these systems are exchanging spots with what is most powerful at any given moment. So even if you're a month or 2 behind or even 3 months behind, fine. Just level up from the single chat thread zone. Biggest thing.
And then if a company, for example, restricts access to Claude Code, do you think that people should be learning on their own time?
Yes. By the way, if they restrict access to Claude Code, I get it. I have a bunch of companies that I'm working with that are only on Codex or that are only on Copilot or only on Gemini tools. That is very normal. And so many companies are in your exact same boat. So many companies are having to figure this out. You are not uniquely positioned in that way. If you are an IC and you are blocked, just know that I am on your side. And I want you to still learn these things. You cannot end 2026 not knowing how to work with AI agents. You are in a horrible position for your career if that is the case. So even if it just means going on your own device or your phone and just going to something like Manus AI or going on just a more browser-oriented thing like ChatGPT Atlas or only using Claude Chrome extension, right? Something just on your own personal device and even just a couple little bits of power, that is so much better than just using AI to write things that you then have to copy and paste or using AI to summarize an article. Whatever means you need, do it. Have a friend walk you through it, right? If they are able to use Claude Code or something, obviously don't let them show you secret IP stuff, but you have to figure out how to get access with this. At the bare minimum, using things on your personal account that is just browsery type things and watching YouTube videos, that is going to be a ton of help. For the mastermind, I highly recommend only joining if you can access these agentic tools like Claude Code or Claude Cowork, at the very least Copilot or Codex or Anti-Gravity.
This is less thematic, but it's one of our most upvoted questions. What's the most surprising way you've seen a team use AI? Something that you didn't expect?
I like a lot. We didn't get into this in depth on this workshop because, again, only an hour. Can't make you an expert. I love a lot of multi-agent workflows. So as an example, and I shared this online, you can grab the prompt. I built out an AI boardroom that basically puts 6 different AI agents all together in one room, and they all think of the problem and solution in their own heads, air quotes. They're all thinking about it. Then they all exchange messages with each other. All 6 talk back and forth to each other, and then it comes back to me with an answer. And I like built out this interface where it also looks like a video game. It's very interesting. But the reason I love that is because we're moving out of single chat thread land. We're going into multi-thread, multi-agent, and parallel lands. We saw a super like easy example with the Ben Affleck, Sabrina Carpenter, and the third research thing. What does that look like if all of these 3 agents can also talk to each other? So every big decision that I'm making for our business, not only do I get to think about it on my own, solve it on my own, but I get like Jeff Bezos, AI Jeff Bezos weighing in, AI Jensen Huang weighing in, AI Melinda Gates weighing in, so that becomes more robust. I've seen it with people who are like having a problem in code where they're just like, I can't figure out how to solve this. And they have 6 AI agents all arguing with each other. So this idea of just going from one to many, some as judges, we talked about that earlier, some as things in parallel, we talked about that earlier, but also them interacting with each other. It is crazy, it is weird, but I'm doing that probably not almost every single day.
If someone writes that they are interested in using an AI agent but can't afford to pay, what are the best free options to utilize? How do you get started on a budget?
So I think Manus AI comes with credits. Someone can gut check me on that, but I think there's a free tier for that. Even just like the free tier inside of Claude, ChatGPT allows you to, I think, connect into maybe the browsers. Don't quote me on that one, but at the very least, in these free browsers that are set up, I think also Perplexity Computer. Yeah, I would need to do some digging on this because I don't want to misquote, but I want to say that some of the free tools don't require the subscriptions. Maybe someone on the, Elisa, if you want someone on the team to just research on the side, and then when you ask the next question, you can answer that one, but.
Okay, sounds good. And I love this next question. How do you balance short-term, say 6 to 12 months, technical planning for AI with longer-term, for example, 2 to 5 years? And I'm going to expand it and say, especially how has that shifted in the last year?
There's no such thing as a 2 to 5 year plan anymore. It just like, poof, does not exist. There are certain things that human-wise has to be planned at that length. So like, building a new office space, right? That just takes time. I can't make AI do that in 5 minutes. But anything that is digital, anything that is knowledge work, anything that is software and scripts and computer, my team is largely looking at 3 to 6 month timeframes. Again, at the beginning, at the very end of last year, and also for years before this, every single year I produce my list of AI predictions. If you feel like every single AI release that's coming out this year is like completely catching you off guard, go back into my AI with Ali newsletter. There's going to be a 2026 AI predictions newsletter. Just read through that. You'll get a better sense of where I believe this is going. A lot of the predictions have already come true. That's a good way to prep for at least a couple months. The second thing to share is that everything that I teach in the AI First Academy or AI for Business Leaders or the AI Agent Mastermind or any other thing that I teach that starts with the word AI, it is not these really hyper specific use cases, okay? Because if I teach you 100 use cases, you're not going to be able to figure out the 100 first. That's why so many people are still trapped in like tiny land inside of ChatGPT, just doing 5 things on repeat. Instead, I teach the frameworks, I teach the mindset, I teach things like how to build a skill, and we show an example. How to think about multi-agents, and we show an example. How to think about automated workflows or autonomous AI agents that are doing stuff for you. And we happen to show a morning AI briefing. But while I am walking through that, I'm like giving you the abstracted view. So 3 to 6 months, at the very least, you learn all the tools that we just shared. These are not going to like meaningfully shift in the next couple months. Everything is just going toward the open clawification of everything. More autonomous things, things that can run in parallel, things you can ping from your phone, not just on your laptop, things that are going to be able to run in the cloud, not just locally. Those sorts of patterns, we can already see them happening in the AI space. It just hasn't trickled down to some of these larger providers yet. But man, the 2-year time horizon, 5-year time horizon, your guess is as good as mine.
This is another big shift that I think you'll be able to speak to really, really well. At my organization, there's a perception from leadership that it's better to buy an agentic tool for the org sport use cases instead of building with Claude. What are your thoughts on build? What are your thoughts on build versus buy?
The phrasing was interesting, so I'm just going to assume one of two answers. What I would do is purchase so harness is the word for Claude Code, Claude Cowork, Codex, and Anti-Gravity. It's like these wrappers, for lack of a better word, but it's like an agentic system wrapper around models. But it includes things like system instructions and tool use and all these other things that they're taught. You should buy a harness. I do not recommend building your own harness. Maybe in a couple months, there'll be open source tools that allow you to do that. But for now, do not make your own harness from scratch. Even OpenClaw, it being open source, it's still a thing that you can grab and customize. So buy the harness. If you're talking about third-party tools, and by the way, my clients ask me about this too, where they're just like, how safe is our product in the future? How much of a moat do we have? How much gravity do we have on this? If you are launching a crazy simple SaaS tool, you are in a worse position because people that didn't need the 10 features that you have, but only needed 2, and those 2 are really simple, they might bring that in-house. So one example was Celonis. They're the owners of Make.com. They were purchasing a SaaS tool. I think it was for like $50,000 a year. And they were like looking at it and they go, wait a second, 2026, 2025, we can make this for ourselves, no pun intended. And so they made it for themselves for like $500 or something. Don't quote me on the exact stats. They made it for themselves. They're running it for like a couple $100 a year, and they're saving tens of thousands of dollars a year. If you were the maker of the software that costs $50,000, you should have already been freaking out knowing that companies like Celonis could have mimicked the majority of core features that you needed. So build versus buy, that graph, that decision matrix has meaningfully shifted since December 2025. About a year ago when Claude Code came out, I would have said, it's like starting to shift, start to think about it. Meaningfully shifted in December 2025, where way more companies are building their own tools rather than purchasing SaaS. However, I want to remind you of that insane slide where I showed you every single thing that my team is building out. Yes, we could have built out our own dictation tools and all of us could have our own local models that are all custom with our words and our vocabulary, but like it's worth the $20 to not do that. So people are still going to make that cost trade-off, even if they can build it. But the question is, can they build it in 5 hours? Can they build it in 5 minutes? Can they build it in 5 days? So you should keep having people this is such a long answer, sorry. Last thing is like, basically keep having people at your company try and build your product again from scratch. This is like a very helpful thing for large enterprises. If you have someone on your engineering team, someone in your like office of the CIO, have that person attempt to rebuild your product just inside of Claude Code and let it cheat. Screenshot your actual product, screenshot the actual website, feed into Claude Code and say, hey, can you copy this? There's an example, you can find it on Twitter, of people doing that for DocuSign. That was one of the first examples. You can go and find that example, whether you think the person copied it well or not, up to you. But you need to like red hat or red team inside your own product development process.
There are a lot of questions around people who are just getting started, questions such as, where do you actually send the Claude MD file? How do I download my terminal? Where do I access it? Rather than addressing each of those questions, what is your advice for beginners who are really just getting started and need to know where to look first?
I am going to answer those 2 questions just because it helps with the bigger answer. But basically, terminal on a Mac, it's already built in. There are apps for them. I use iTerm because it lets me look at multiple terminals at once. There are a lot of them out there. If you're on a Mac, literally it's just an application called Terminal. Use it. that YouTube video that I linked to, it shows you all of that. Any single text file that I showed is just saved on your laptop. You can also save stuff in your Google Drive and have it access it, whatever. But for now, everything is pulling locally. So files are on your desktop. Skills are on your desktop. If you remember when I was showing the humanized skill, I literally just took a screenshot of my Finder window. That folder was just living on my laptop. If you have a really old laptop or something that barely has any storage, this is your loving reminder to use something like Claude Code to have it clean up your computer, or use something like Codex to have it clean up your desktop, have it clean up your computer. That is such a helpful use case. Like on my desktop, I would just kind of grab every file and throw it into a folder called like, do shit with this later. And instead I asked Claude Code, I was like, hey, can you do something smart and just organize all this? And it did. So for now, it is all really running on your laptop. You can imagine in the future, we're going to be doing a lot more like virtual private servers or people running things on Mac Minis, that things are always staying on. But for now, it's just you and your laptop.
We've time for probably one more question. Someone says that they are trying to build an agent for their job search and would love to know the best way to get started on that. Do you have any recommendations?
Yes. Okay, so again, I break things down into tasks. So if I am searching for a job, what am I going to be doing? I'm going to think internally about what it is that I want. I'm going to connect that in some sort of narrative thread to what I have been doing for the last 20 years. I'm going to think about the types of companies. I'm going to then search for companies. I'm going to figure out what their application process is. I'm going to gather all my sources to actually apply. I'm going to apply. I'm going to manage email processes back and forth. I'm going to prep for interviews, role play for interviews, and then send thank you notes, right? Like those are and then negotiate the offer. That is end to end. So as I'm thinking about AI in each of those, that beginning part, who am I? What am I? What do I stand for? Where should I go from here? That's a lot of the context doc stuff that we showed. If it's how do I find companies that XYZ, all of these tools, Claude Code, Claude Cowork, Codex, they are unbelievable at data scraping and creating spreadsheets off of it. Manus, same thing. If you go into these systems and you say, I want to find 50 B2B companies, minimum 10,000 employees, based in either United States or Hong Kong. I really want a company that was founded at least 20 years ago. I want a company that was, I don't know. You can give it a bunch of these details and it can go off and find these details. You might want to additionally prompt and say companies like, and you can give it examples. I don't like companies like, and you can give it examples and explain why, but you're giving it the parameters and have it grab you a spreadsheet. You can manually review it. This is such a long answer. Oh, okay. And then from that point on, it is those agent skills, running things like, hey, go and navigate to this website and drop in my resume. Or, hey, I really want to apply to, what company did I say before? Pepsi. I really want to apply to Pepsi. Go and find me at least 5 second-degree connections to someone at Pepsi, and it'll literally navigate your own LinkedIn for you. So there are a lot of things that you can do. Again, I'm going to take one big step back and just say, all of this can be learned for free online. You can go on YouTube, you can find these tutorials. You can literally just ask Claude Code, how do I do this thing? And it'll walk you through it. And if you don't like the type of explanation, you can ask for it to be more simple. If you want that accountability, if you want to be able to ask these super, not super niche, but like overall agent questions, AI Agent Mastermind is my recommendation. We are going to be running that intimate cohort. It is going to start in a few days. What's today? March 25th. The whole thing launches in 5 days. The first session is April 2nd. So that is my, larger recommendation. But at the very, very least, take a big step back, make sure you have one harness, and just start bugging it with questions. Go full Spice Girls mode and tell it what you want, what you really, really want. That is it from me. And thank you to Alex. Thank you to Karen. Thank you to Laura and Jen. I know that this was crazy fast. You can rewatch this workshop for 24 hours. We're going to keep this up, replay it, share it with your friends. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Hillary and Sue and Antonio and Michelle and Rosario and Chad and Sen and Cato. You guys are awesome. This was our most attended, most registered workshop ever. Also, just a big shout out to my team for helping me manage this, and even just throwing in kind of that last screenshot. Bummer that that's not there, but it looks good. And thank you for everyone. What is Spice Girls mode? Someone else can tell you. It was a fun little treat. You'll see it in the replay. Thank you, Jacqueline and Anne and Eduardo and Andy. Oh my God, there's so many names. You guys are amazing. I cannot wait to hang out with a bunch of you at the AI Agent Mastermind. I know that there's a lot of information to take in, but the first step is downloading a harness and just opening that terminal and telling it what you want, what you really, really want. Everyone's going to have that song stuck in their head for the rest of the day, and I'm fine with that. Okay, thank you, everyone. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you to my team. We're going to wrap it up here.